Imago Mundi was started in 2012 by Luciano Benetton of the Fondazione Benetton Studi, Richerche, which is the foundation that he started in the 80s. And he went to, he's an important man in Italy. He started fashion stores, but then did many other things after. He went to South America, I think it was maybe Bolivia or a country in South America, and asked for this, an artist's business card. And the artist didn't have one, but he says, I have a small canvas I can give to you in exchange. And since he is a great collector of contemporary art, he thought this is where his whole project started, thinking I would like to collect works of art of artists from every country in the world, but utilizing only one constraint that everybody has to follow, which is the 10 by 12 format. And so starting this, he began with different countries, South America, he did China, India, Australia, and then the whole thing has just kept rolling and growing to the point where almost every single country in the world has been done, where they have a catalog presented of of their works. This is one of my catalogs I did in 2014 on the Native Americans of North America, Canada, United States. And so he wants to document the works of artists, to document the culture of each and every country, and to break borders by talking through art. So it's in a unique and absolutely amazing pretext for opening up the world and sharing it through art. Well, Imago Mundi, since they're doing every country in the world, they started off slowly and now they're picking up pace. As I said, they produce 6 catalogs a month, which means that they travel to 6 different countries every month. And the people I work with, which is the Fondazione Benetton, they are based in Africa, in Malindi. They run the Biennale Malindi in Kenya. And they did every country in Africa, every single country. I did Namibia in 2014. And doing every country in Africa, then they finished, so they started doing Asia. And so in Asia, Vietnam was done, Cambodia was done, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. So he had asked me, you know, I'm doing Asia, which country would you like, because I'm one of the top curators in this team, what country would you like to do? So I researched and I said Nepal, that's the country I want to do. It would still have to be done. And so he discussed this with Mr. Benetton because Nepal was a country that everybody wants to do. I mean, it was a very ambito, we say in Italian. And so it was given to me in last year, after I finished my last 2 catalogs, it was given to me. Every artist, like for Nepal, we're doing this format, which is 140 artists. This one is 210, some have 210, some have 240. So every artist of the 140 will have a full page, 2 pages for them, with their complete artwork here. Exactly, I don't have a canvas here to show you, but it is the exact size of the canvas. And they'll have a biography. Here, I can show you here which is better, which is mine ones. A full biography in Italian and in English, the front and the back of the canvas. So artists get completely documented in terms of their work. It doesn't get changed, it's a full photograph, digital photograph. And I try to write as much as I can about the artists, where they've studied, how many exhibitions they've had, and what their work is about, and where they were born, where they live. That's a standard biography we do for all of them. If I have more than 100 works, I have to do a choice, but I think we're almost just at 140 here. I would have to do a selection, but since I want to document Nepal is young artists who are students, emerging artists, established artists, and senior artists. There are some maybe younger students who are still studying that I might consider. I bring them home to me where I work on it for 4 months. I'll be spending 4 months writing biographies in my studio at home. Then I write the essay, then the appropriate people will be writing their essay. So it's a very good historical, critical cultural documentation of Nepali contemporary art with the top scholars writing about it. And then it gets given to my foundation, the Fondazione Benetton, that does a complete checkup. So they control every canvas to see if it's right, what the artist wrote on their biography, making sure that I didn't make any mistakes, that everything is correct. And that takes a week of very strict analysis of this. Then he will ship it off to the Fondazione Benetton, where they start the initial translations. That takes a few months because they have to get sent to official translators. The translators have to translate in Italian English. They don't understand things. They ask me, what's this word mean? What is this? We have to discuss. Then once the translation is finished, then it gets sent to the graphic designers. Each one is a different graphic designer. It's all written in the back here, which I will thank everybody in my acknowledgements. We have the organization, the editorial committee that then sets up the catalog. There are photographs of the artists and the book design. So there is a book designer. Each one is a different book designer. They have a series of it's a huge, huge organization. So they have a series of graphic designers here. This one was done, art direction was done by one person, which is not the same person who did this one, which will be, a different person who did my last catalog. The Inuit one is by a special graphic designer. And then they have a whole editorial committee that examines the book, makes sure it's okay. It gets sent to me to check for errors. I have to correct all the book. And then it goes, and then they publish it, and then it gets sent to the artist, will be sent here.
So that means all the artists getting this book?
Every artist in the collection will get the book. Well, I'm a Facebook person, so I started off, and this is a pure Facebook collection. Different collections are not. The Western Canada was not a Facebook collection. This collection was a Facebook collection, which means that I research online, and then I contact the artist through Facebook. And I also had the great support of many individuals who helped me with this, such as the Siddhartha Arts Gallery and Art Initiative, and the Tarragon Museum. Special artists such as Kabi Raj Lama and Michelle Oli and Irina Tamakar from ER's Nepal. Many people have opened their arms and helped me. So it is kind of a spiral, isn't it? It's kind of it begins and then it spreads out. And through passaparola, as we say, passing word around, I managed to visit and to get to all the most important contemporary Nepali artists. Okay, so I didn't know too much when I came here. I mean, I've researched it and I've seen it, and I researched basically a lot of women artists and stuff. When you finish the catalog, you don't know what the Nepali art is going to be about until the very end. So now we know. You don't know if it's going to be about the landscape, if it's going to be about the earthquake. I thought maybe the issues would be about the earthquake, or about cultural situations in Nepal today. And I see that it is quite a varied, very varied situation here. We have very contemporary works that talk about issues in Nepal today, as child marriages, women issues, the water and energy. Then we have works that have to deal with Buddhism and Hinduism and spiritual works. Then we have landscapes, which I thought there might be more of, instead there are fewer of. Then personal works, some very personal works that only the artist, explaining to me, I understand. And there are different types of exploration of media, which I really like. It's not only painting. I really enjoy the fact that people utilize different media. So we have mixed media, photography, painting, printmaking, all different types of media, which is really important to see all the different types of media. And we also have a cross-section of age too. So from very young or very young to a middle age, a general age of 30s and 40s, and then to senior artists. So it's quite a cross-section. And I see that there's not one particular theme. When I did Western Canada last year, and I traveled, it was a big catalog, 210 works, the theme that stood out was landscape, was nature. And so out of 210 works, maybe 3/4 were nature. So there you go. And I never would thought that. So you can see how Nepali is very unique. It isn't one thing. Oh, I would love to. It would be wonderful.
In other country you have done?
Well, I've done that, but I haven't gone back to the countries. I went to Namibia.
Yeah.
I went to North America to visit the Native Americans and First Nations in Canada, United States. That was a very big trip, visiting many different areas in North America. I went to Western Canada, which was very big too. I went to the Arctic to visit the Inuit and lived with the Eskimos. Now Nepal, and then Laos. So right now I'm concentrating on this. It would be lovely then. I'm trying to, in Italy, see about organizing exhibitions of the contemporary artists with, regular canvases and stuff. I'm trying, but that will have to come after I finish all this project. Well, this, as you know, there's the catalog, which is available not only for you, but it's available online. It's available at this Fabrica website, because Fabrica, the people who produce this catalog, Fabrica here, they have a huge website with all their catalogs, so people will be able to see it, not only in bookstores and stuff, but see it online so people can buy it. But we also have the website, imagomundiart.com, which is constantly being upgraded and updated. And there you can, there is absolutely the most important place where the works can be seen. Not only in the collection, but there are whole teams of people who utilize the web industry. And so what they do is they analyze all the works in terms of tagging. So they tag your work in terms of color, in terms of theme, in terms of materials, in terms of age. And so your work is tagged within the website, not only for being in Nepal, but it's seen across the board with all the other artists. Then we have the social network, as you're well aware of, and I'm very well of, that is always constantly being upgraded. They highlight artists, they highlight collections, they highlight certain people. So that's always being done. Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and then there are the exhibitions. The exhibitions happen at least 2 or 3 a year. There's a whole curatorial team. I'm not part of that curatorial team of the foundation, the Benetton Foundation, who finds a location, like the last one was in New York, where they highlighted 20 countries. And this one wasn't included. I thought this would be included, but it wasn't. Whereas the Biennale Venezia last year had 40 countries. Different locations depending on the place, the type of theme. Some works, collections have been exhibited more than once. The Australian Aboriginals has been exhibited 2 or 3 times. Namibia has never been exhibited. I don't know why, but they still haven't done like a whole Africa. But usually what they do is whenever they do an exhibition, they try to reach the 5 continents. So they choose different countries from each continent. And depending if the collection is excellent, because if the collection isn't so good, they might not exhibit it. But I think this Nepali collection is very good. And so it gets exhibited on all different locations, depending on what's coming up and what they have lined up in terms of exhibitions. Now I've made so many lovely friendships with many Nepali artists. I think it's been a wonderful experience. You've taken me into your heart and into your arms. I've visited all the different organizations, hoping not to miss out on anybody. All the different organizations, the museums, the galleries. I've met artists in their studios. I did workshops with artists, as you know, workshops with schools, with the artists in their schools, with people and children and adults and students. So I think it's Nepal there's not have been a country like this for sure in terms of openness and really embracing the whole Imago Mundi. I would love to do some more things with Nepal and hoping that maybe next year, who knows, we can organize something else.